Wins have transformed West Coast from favourite to contender, from unbeatable to uncertain.
Their preparation for the Adelaide Crows this afternoon. They've got a little bit of unfinished business against West Coast as well. The Eagles have beaten them in 4 of their last 5 outings. Jason Bennett alongside Peter Wilson as we welcome you to Subiaco. Been a bit of rain around during the week. The ground's a little bit heavy underfoot, Willow. Will it have an impact this afternoon?
I think it will, actually. I think Adelaide will come back to the West Coast Eagles. Unusual to say that here at Subiaco Oval, but I think we're in for a fantastic game of footy.
There's plenty of unusuals about this game this afternoon. In fact, it's the first time in 32 starts that West Coast will not be favourites at Subiaco. And as we take a look at the record between them, as I mentioned, West Coast have won 4 of their last 5 against Adelaide, and the last 4 games in particular have all been crackers.
And they get up for it. Look at that one there. Round 2, 206. Andrew Embley took a Leo Barre-styled mark to make sure they got up and won the game of football. So we're in for, I think, another very close game.
Make no mistake, this is a big afternoon for the West Coast Eagles. They sit in second position, 12 wins and 4 losses. That outstanding win-loss record masks their form in recent times, hasn't been as good as it could be. Let's see this afternoon, the challenge, the biggest challenge in the competition, might just lift them to another level. Mark Rasciuto, Trent Henschel, Matthew Bode, 3 potent forwards.
Yeah, look, and been pretty good touch in the back half there for West Coast. Daniel Chick, I'm sure, will get the job on Rasciuto. Fantastic 300-game player, kicked 5 last week.
Henschel back from a cork. He was in red-hot form before he suffered that injury. Speaking of red-hot, Brett Burton, just about as difficult a match-up as any in the competition.
And young Selwood will get the job. He's been doing some great tagging efforts in the last 3 or 4 weeks. I'm sure he'll get Burton. That'll be a great match-up to watch.
So many great match-ups to look at in the middle of the ground. Ben Cousins returns to the side. Robert Shirley, the likely opponent for him.
I'm sure Shirley will get a quick look at Chris Judd as well. Cousins fresh after a week's break. He is just dying to get out on the park.
The ruck duel will be important. CB will face Biglands and Clark with Jamie Graham as his backup. Chris Judd, one to watch as always, and Stenglein likely starter on Goodwin.
You'll even talk about Edwards. He loves playing against West Coast. I'm sure he's had Brownlow votes many times. He really is a fantastic player as well.
Averaged 29 possessions in his last 4 against them, Tyson Edwards. Ashley Hansen back from illness. Hansen, Staker, Lynch. At forward line, it's got the names there, they just need to click.
Just got to make sure they take first grab, so important. Hansen, he leads up strong. He really is important to West Coast. He must continue doing that, straighten them up with long leads.
And we saw Daniel Kerr, he's polled Brownlow votes in 3 of his last 6 against the Adelaide Crows. Ashley Sampi back into the side, such an important element. They've missed that ingredient that they've had in previous years, the zip at ground level.
Yeah, look, that's the great thing about Ashley. He is definitely the X factor. He needs to also stop John Cock from running out, because if you stop him, that's the springboard of attack for these guys from their back half.
And no Andrew McLeod, of course, so a bit more focus on John Cock for that exact job this afternoon. Great matchups all over the park. These two sides really are, on paper, so evenly matched. Let's take a look at the West Coast interchange bench. Mitch Morton, the late inclusion. Andrew Embley, as suspected, out of the side.
Really does hurt, especially with Hunter out with a knee injury as well. It does really affect their mobility through the middle.
And their versatility as well,
Absolutely,
their ability to shuffle things around. Matthew Clark, Thompson, Van Berlo back from a busted collarbone, and Jason Portlesia back into the side as well. Plenty to look forward to, and 2 men in particular, 2 of the red-hot midfielders of the competition. We'll start with this man, Chris Judd. Averaged 21 possessions in 9 games against Adelaide, but never pulled a Brownlow vote against them. And this man, Simon Goodwin, averaged 24 against the Eagles. He had 36 touches the last time these two sides played.
And they're just unbelievable. Look, contested possession is really what it's all about when it comes to the midfield, and these two really are right up the top. Second and third in the league. They're just great to watch. You know, just the amount of money it costs you to come in to watch the footy would be enough to come and see these two guys.
They're both capable of finishing off with goals as well, and they just bring other players into the play, so it's a double-edged sword. If Judd or Goodwin get on top, they'll do damage themselves and they'll bring other guys into it.
Absolutely, and the great part about both players is they continue to finish with goals.
Great record between these two sides, a great history as we mentioned. Late last season they met here at Subiaco twice. In round 22, Adelaide claimed the minor premiership.
And it's a terrible bounce. This would be the greatest escape if they can get it. They might get a chance. Goodwin couldn't get it. He'll get it now. They can mark it here. High ball, Rasciuto, look at Embley's got it. Free kick and a mark. Courage personified. Andrew Embley saves the day. And I reckon he saved the match. Hang on to it, they say. 6 seconds, 5. The Eagles are going to post a famous victory. Wait for it. They've got it. What a heart stopper.
Here's hoping we can have another one this afternoon. Chris Judd, Mark Rasciuto at the toss of the coin. Chris Judd claims the honours for West Coast. They'll kick to the left of screen in the opening term. Chris Judd in the long sleeves. A little bit chilly by Perth standards this afternoon. If we've mentioned the mud around, there has been a lot of rain at Subiaco in the last week or so. The ground a little bit heavier than usual as we welcome Tim Gossage. Big crowd in, fantastic atmosphere. It's got a bit of a feel of September about this one.
It's had an interesting build-up too. Jason, of course, Embley and Hunter out. Sampier shock selection. Morton coming into the lineup. John Worsfold doing 2 press conferences in 3 days, and 2 Brownlow medalists failing to train. Oh, it's got that feeling of intrigue about it.
Plenty of injuries for both sides. Their depth will be tested. There's a couple there for West Coast, Mikoski and Embley. Mark Rasciuto, the Raging Bull skipper, he's got a great record against the West Coast Eagles, and there's no love lost between these sides. This is round 22 last year. Good night, Adam Selwood. Rasciuto copped a week for that. And they lost the following week to St Kilda in the first round of the finals last year. There'll be a bit of feeling in this game, make no mistake. A great rivalry between these two clubs, the 2 most popular in terms of membership in the competition. People in Perth here transfixed to our broadcast this afternoon. We welcome our friends in Adelaide as well. It'll be exactly the same. And right around the country on Fox Footy and Network 10, we are looking forward to a cracking contest as West Coast take on Adelaide. The Eagles, big game for them in terms of ladder position. And we spoke earlier, Willow, might just be the challenge that really gets them back up to their best, because they've found ways to win this year, but really since their first 4 or 5 weeks, which was scintillating, they haven't been at their best. Maybe this afternoon will draw it out of them again.
And the matchup we're expecting to happen, Daniel Chicks had a good record on Mark Rasciuto. Of course, Rasciuto was in fantastic form last week in his 300th game, kicked 5 goals. He is just a class player in the AFL. Daniel Chick has a huge job.
The start will be all important. Adelaide, the best starting team in the competition.
Selwood to Burton, we picked that one.
West Coast have led at quarter time just 5 times this season. Great to have you with us around the country. Round 17 action. West Coast and Adelaide from Subiaco Oval. Here's Tim Gossage.
And Judd wins it out of the middle of the ground straight away. Kick inside 50. Staker on the lead. Hits him on the chest. Perfect start out of the middle for the West Coast Eagles.
Adelaide just not getting their matchups there. That's left a hole for Chris Judd. He took that opportunity. I don't think you get too many more of those during the course of the day. Beautiful kick, Chris Judd.
Tight angle, but an angle these players are often faced with at training. The last kick before going off the ground. The race is from where Brent Staker for the Eagles is kicking from just inside 50. Not a great kick across the face. It hits the behind post. No score on the board. Chris Judd. An indoor session yesterday, according to the West Coast Eagles. Well, he arrived and was gone 3 minutes later, so it was quick. As we saw there at the first bounce, he is quick. And there's Goodwin. Forced to play on now and kick under pressure, and with that he's going to almost clear the line. He has cleared the line out of bounds on the full. There is a breeze, fairly strong breeze, favouring the West Coast Eagles end of the ground. Banfield now being called to play on, off a step, kick inside 50. Hansen has to stand and wait. No clear mark. Well done, John Cock wanted the boundary line. Umpire Kennedy says that was fair and reasonable, and have a throw in about 35 out from the Eagles' goal.
Very important role for Ashley Sampi. Not only does he need to be a target here, but he does need to stop John Cock. Just continuing to rebound out of the back half here for Adelaide.
A nervous start from both teams. It's got a finals-like atmosphere. Here's Cousins at the back. Goes bang, and Eagles are on the board. Great start for Ben Cousins back in the side and for the West Coast Eagles. We spoke just moments ago of the significance of the start in this game. Adelaide don't concede many runs of consecutive goals. Looking at the numbers during the year, 4 or 5's the most that anyone's kicked against them. I think it was 5 Port Adelaide did earlier in the season, very early in the season. So when you get your moments, you've got to make them count. Judd was brilliant to wear Punda. Burton runs him down, holding the ball. The pace of this game will be something to watch. Bode slips away, runs to 65. Eagles have got 3 men underneath this. And Darren Glass diffuses the bomb. Chick. Seavey breaks hard to the outer side. Here's Wirapunda already across the other side of the ground. Was run down on centre wing on this side moments ago. Spears the kick. It was a beauty to Rowan Jones. Eagles look sharp early. It's a good sign for them. Cousins. Grant Faroon just pops it up. Front and centre was Sampi. Lynch did well. Dishes to Braun. 40 metres out. Eagles have got 2.
couple of goals in a couple of minutes for the West Coast Eagles. They did have a fast start against Collingwood.
Interesting matchup. When you look at Stenglein normally gets a job, does Shirley. They're on each other. So you've got two taggers really taking each other out of the game.
Crooked bounce, but Biglan's did well. Grabbed it and went and got away from Stenglein. Chick spoils it away from Rashudo, McGregor and Glass. Inside the forward 50 for the Crows. Here's work under backpedaling. Does well, squeezes it out to centre wing and Butler. Kicks around the corner. Adelaide have numbers at the contest. Stevens has the support of Edwards. Don't quite work it out. Stevens decides to go it alone. Under pressure. Massey.
It's not often that two defenders become one of the most important players on the ground, but today, David Werpunda and Graham Johncock will be critical.
And that's why, I guess, you look at their opposition players. They have huge roles to actually play a defensive game out of a forward line. It's just typical new age football.
Butler wasn't quite ready for it. He made some good ground. Jones forced the contest over the line. The breeze is certainly swirling around. If anything is favouring the West Coast, maybe a 1 or 2 goal breeze. It certainly goes across the ground. The Eagles have made a very good start. Biglan's will be penalised, shepherding Seaby out of the ruck contest. No Cox, no Gardner. Mark Seaby has really stepped up to the plate. Here's his big opportunity. Ordinary kick, a floater inside 50. Ashley Sampi hasn't played since round 7. Missed a couple of weeks actually in WAFL with a bit of a hamstring injury. Somewhat of a surprise selection. But a chance. Here's Judd from 40 metres out. Brilliant! Eagles have 3! Eagles midfield, I said they don't kick enough goals. Well, today the first 3 have come with the boot of Cousins, Braun and Judd. Been an electric start.
7 stoppages, first hands on the football to West Coast 6 times. They are dominating early. Goodwin wins it on this occasion to Rashudo. Their big names look to rally the troops. Getting across was Banfield in support. Sockers to the advantage of Werpunda. He'll gather just on defensive 50. We square it up. Stenglein. Eagles have got plenty of run in the legs early. Glass provides an option. He can get it and go. McGregor getting across to try and shut him down. Glass has a few bounces. Draws a player towards him. Kicks towards Hanson. Too much on it. Scott Stevens, what a fantastic resurrection of his career in 2006.
Big hit from Jamie Graham. McGregor not concentrating, just running after McGregor. And then Graham's just come through with a beautiful shepherd.
Massey only as far as Kerr inside 50. Stevens wrapped up by Lynch. The big arms went around him. Here's Sampi from the angle. Squares it up. It was a nothing kick. Burton with quick hands got it to Hart. Hart's kick. He was dragged down as he let it go off the boot, but Johncock was good. Stood tall. And Adelaide will come away through Massey.
McGregor still down, and the trainers certainly want the stretcher. He's in a bad way. McGregor far side of the ground. Eagles now have possession again. Kerr, too much on the handball for Judd. Under pressure from Shirley. He slips and gets back up and hand passes to the support of Banfield. McGregor up behind play. Here's Cousins. Marks on 50. Kicks towards the goal square. Needs a mark. Sampi in the vicinity. Off hands through for a minor score. McGregor now up on his feet. Far side of the ground. That was a big hit.
Was just drawn into the contest then, Sampi, wasn't he?
Good shepherd.
Great shepherd. McGregor, no awareness though. You see that time and time again with some footballers these days. They're just not looking around. They don't think the hit's going to come on. They're used to being with huge numbers back. They just don't think these guys are coming. It was a big hit.
Glass is going to come off along the same side with McGregor now. Well, Plissier comes on for Adelaide, and so too Bo Waters. So just a match-up change there for the West Coast Eagles.
3-1 to no score. We've played almost 9 minutes at Subiaco. Great atmosphere here. Just remind you how great September can be. The ball's with Rutten. He goes short. Edwards. McGregor just collects his thoughts.
Yeah, tempo football. Now they just slow it down. They get together. Just on the corner of the square, they create a total stoppage. They do this regularly. They just meet, zone up, and make numerous leads.
They're arguably the best drilled team in the history of football. It's a big statement, but when it comes to just team disciplines and playing to their strengths. They do it as well as anyone we've ever seen. Burton to the wing. Graham did well. Looked to be out of the contest, but read it beautifully. Juggled it on the way down. Kicks to some space. Allows Jones to link up with Banfield. Hanson leads hard to 50. Sizzling ball from Banfield.
The weight on that kick was perfect. Just didn't try and overkick it.
Hanson goes short. Lynch waited for it. Stevens attacked it. And the turnover comes for Adelaide. His kick was poor. Gave Hart little chance. Banfield's got plenty of support. Can use it now in the form of Hanson. He gives it to Butler. Butler uncertain. Went with the first give. Should have gone to the second. Hanson goes inside 50. Big pack of plays. CV! The big man pushes forward and takes a strong mark. 25 out directly in front.
We saw this at CB last week. Has that ability just to work and read the play beautifully and push forward, giving that marking option in the forward line. There's no doubt about that. The big man, it's a beautiful kick and a great mark overhead. But his work rate from a big fella getting down, making sure he's an option, very important to West Coast Eagles structure.
Booted 3 straight last week. He's kicked 6-3 for the season. This to give West Coast a dream start. From 35 out. They're up and about, the Eagles. 4-1 to no score.
An impressive 12 minutes for Mark Seavey. Mitch Morton onto the ground. Hasn't been in super form for them on the WAFL, so again an interesting selection.
Interesting to see how big Quinton Lynch goes in now.
It's against Clark. Bigglings has gone forward. Glass back on the ground. It's all about matchups at the moment. There's your answer, Willow. A knock straight down from Lynch. Massey received. Now they work it out through Bassett. Goodwin was involved. There's Massey again. Back to Goodwin. Back to Edwards. In tight like a handball drill. And Bassett on the way out. He runs to centre half forward. Chips inside 50. Too much on the kick. Here's Rashudo leading chip to the footy. Waters goes hard. Got a nudge. And should get a free kick for a high tackle and does.
He does put his body on the line, this kid.
To Butler. You can see bouncing, and there's been plenty of rain. Pretty firm surface, although the closer it gets to this, the commentary side, this camera side of the ground, it gets very slippery. Here's Selwood. Everyone seems to stop and wait. Braun spears the pass inside 50. Judd resting up forward. Mattner went without it. Staker. Adelaide work it out nicely through the experience of Hart. Now Burton. Hand pass not great, but Rutten has time to gather. Clark loops it over, and Edwards can relieve for the Crows at half-back.
How good was that from Ben Hart? Kept his head when all around him was losing theirs. And here's Porplesia.
A strong mark too.
Jason Porplesia playing game number 6 this afternoon from West Adelaide. Goes down the line. It's tidy to Doughty. Adelaide just needs some time in possession. The disposal rate at the moment, until the last couple of minutes, is almost 2-1 in favour of West Coast. It's starting to even itself up. Doughty hoists it high. 3-on-2 in the air. Numbers went out for West Coast.
Screen by Glass was very, very clever.
They are prepared to run for each other early, the Eagles. Very good signs. Jamie Graham peeled off. Look at Kerr goes streaming past to provide a shepherd. Good unrewarded running from Daniel Kerr. Graham keeps going. Hanson back to Graham, who kept going again. Waters flips it over the top to Sampi. One more disposal and they're open. Here's the chance through Jones. Handball's a bit messy. There was 3 or 4 of them there. Cousins. Now back to Jones. Back to Cousins. The Cavalry's arrived for Adelaide. Hence their reluctance to kick long. Lynch slides in. Doughty did well to force a contest. They both hover over the football. Umpire will come in, linger and ping. Doughty made the play in the end and got pinged. Cousins inside 50. Hanson did well to lose his man in traffic. Play on the call. Sampi from 50, from 45, measures and goals.
A quick handball off to Cousins, set it up, just moving that football very quickly into their forward 50, and the X-factor, Sampi, jumps up and registers on the board.
Ash Hanson's been good early too at centre half forward for the West Coast Eagles. Crows need a centre clearance. Kerr put his body over it. Bode nearby. Cousins been very busy. Loops a hand pass, didn't strike it that well, but time enough for Braun to swing it onto the left boot. Didn't look. That allows Hart to gather for the Crows. The steady from the veteran. Good vision. Spots up Stevens at centre-half back. Again, the Crows just got to get their hands on the footy. Bassett. The run from Burton. Runs a long way, got close to the man on the mark. Inside 50, Chick and Rashudo. Free kick to Rashudo. For a push.
Daniel Chick just had those hands out. Rashudo's worked back into it, did it very well. Just got that easy break, that quick break, that metre, it's all he needed. Burton saw his skipper move to his right.
5 goals in a losing team earlier this year as the Eagles ring the changes. Seavey back on for Lynch. Brett Jones for Banfield. And the ball in the hands of Mark Rashudo. Crows aiming for their first score. We're ticking up 17 minutes. A stuttering approach. A deliberate kick. And a much-needed goal for Adelaide. They get their first off the boot of Mark Rashudo.
Gets them on the board. 5 straight goals to West Coast, as they did last time they played Adelaide. They did it in the second quarter that day. Adelaide now on the board, 25 points the margin. We've played 18 minutes. Kerr flips it to Jones, who'll be run down. Good tackle from Goodwin holding the ball. Crows now looking to hit back hard. West Coast came out with a full frontal assault. Adelaide now looking to counter-attack. John Cox's ball was a low percentage one. Butler. Sampy's going to get run down. Quick hands. Set up Waters. Doughty came from behind. Bode. Sampy just whisked it away. It was brilliant. Braun. Now Waters. Chips to centre wing and finds Hansen.
He just keeps presenting up. He's had an outstanding start, Hansen.
He's extremely important in the West Coast Eagles structure. Jim, you're spot on. He must lead up and keep doing it. Really strengthens up their forward line structure.
Inside 50. Punched away from Jones by Van Berlo. At the back is Rutten. He's corralled. He's got some support. It's Thompson. Now to Hart. He's called to play on. He's going to run out of bounds. It was out when he kicked it. Boundary umpire didn't spot it. And they get away with one. Massey. The run now from Doughty. Adelaide getting some time in possession to just start controlling the tempo. They play tempo football. I know it's a buzzword, but they played as well as anyone.
Sampy's worked very hard getting back here. Now he's left John Cock wide on the other side. Opportunity to switch.
But you can't play tempo football unless you've got possession. West Coast robbed them of that in the first 15 minutes. And now you just see Adelaide starting to get into their stride a little bit. Wanting to play the game on their terms. Logic dictates if you've got the talent, why not go out and attack West Coast, Adelaide, rather full on. It's worked for the Eagles in the past. It worked in the first 15 minutes. And now Adelaide are going to try and deprive them of possession. It's going to be a bit unconventional. It's going to look a bit awkward like it did there for Bassett. Judd. Armstrong. And now Chick. They've got a man forward of the football. He's snuck behind the guard. It's Selwood. Looks up, goes to a one-on-one. Rutten sees front position and Staker took it back.
He was out of position, Staker. He was out of position once, got back in the contest. That's a big effort.
It was. He had the front position. Rutten, big, strong All-Australian fullback, got in front, but again, Staker fought back. That was just unbelievable. Second effort, you don't see that a great deal. Not from this boy. He really needs to improve in the area. He's starting to stand up.
Great work from West Coast, going back the other way. When they start to play possession football, Adelaide, deny them space, get up in their face. Don't let them shift it around and use the wide open expanses, and that's what West Coast did there to force the turnover. Now Staker to make them pay for goal number 6.
Six-goal first quarter for the West Coast Eagles. No time to panic just yet for the Adelaide Crows. This is an outstanding first quarter by the West Coast Eagles. Judd wearing long sleeves. Now there's a chop on the arms. Going to go back to Seavey. Judd wearing the long sleeves. Didn't train yesterday, and I've caught him out the eye a couple of times. He hands on head. He might be struggling with a bit of a cold or the flu of some sort. There's the kick to half forward. And there is Judd. That's a high tackle. Should be a free kick to the Crows, and is. Van Berlo. And there's Chris Judd. I'm just not convinced he's 100% right. Some say he's also got a bit of a knee niggle. Van Berlo's been called to play on. And that's a terrible kick. But it'll come off for the Crows. Lands in the arms of Thompson. Bassett, long time. Tackle Morton. How does the umpire see it? No prior opportunity.
Well, 9 out of 10 times they pay that as a free kick.
Almost 40,000 in. Third man up was Stenglein. Here's Cousins. Gives off to Braun. Jones has been busy. Rowan. Here's Cousins again. Possession number 9. Chip kick. Wapunda. 50 metres out.
Bit of a floater from Ben Cousins. Difficult kick though. Had to wedge that between 2 or 3 Crows players, but he was good enough and up to the task. There's no worries about the distance when it comes to David Wapunda. He will definitely carry the distance required. It's just a matter of accuracy.
9 possessions so far for Cousins. 6 handballs received, so he's working hard to get to the contest. Ticking underneath 4 minutes. David Wapunda has a chance to become the 7th goal kicker in the first quarter for the West Coast Eagles. He swings out onto the right boot, sets it up. It's trying to work its way back. It hits the post.
Had the perfect shape on it. Just started a fraction to the right-hand side. Bassett receives the quick kick in. Again, we see West Coast building a wall across the centre of the ground. So Bassett decides to run into it and try to kick over it. But Staker did well with the pressure.
It's a free kick down the ground, relay free kick against Staker.
So just crossed the line with his pressure did Brent Staker.
I think the umpire's going to bring it back. Umpire Chamberlain says it's not a relay free kick.
Well, if it goes out of bounds, surely it comes back.
It is going to come back, and that's strategically important as well because it'll allow West Coast to once again build the wall.
You can't take a free kick from out of bounds.
Just as it was on centre wing there was plenty of space for Adelaide to work back into. And we saw them do it brilliantly here at Subiaco in round 22 last year. They'd run the ball up to the West Coast wall and then kick long over it to use the space that exists behind it. That's what they'll try to do again this afternoon. Thompson takes the mark despite late attention from Wapunda. So when you see the Adelaide players running hard in towards what looks to be traffic, that'll be the reason, so they can then go and kick over the top of it to the wide open space that exists behind.
The Eagles are really working that pretty well though, Jace, because at the moment they're not playing real man-on-man football. They are zoning off within close contact. Reasonable position. And that's just making it very hard for the Crows to carry the line.
Well, that was one of the lessons they learnt from that round 22 game. They turned around for the prelim final last year. Judd spirals it deep inside 50. Bassett at the back. He's got Stevens in support. Burton breaks to the outer side. One-on-one. Look at the fly! Oh, he is as exciting as anyone going about. Can just take them from anywhere. That's what's so exciting about him. John Cock. The silence deafening at Subi. Thompson. Spears to 50. It was a good ball to Biglands. And the big man's got it 60 from home. They've got some space to work in. The lead came from Edwards. He'll go long to the top of the square. Henschel there. Rashudo there. Was he nudged out? Play on the call. Jones to tidy up for the Eagles.
He's got numbers. He'll go short with Wapunda. Burton just goes straight up. I mean, there's no run up. There's no nothing. He just has an unbelievable vertical leap. He is just one of the...
The other thing about Burton, he's not a real heavy guy, so every time he's sitting on someone, they can normally carry his weight. He's always going to take a fly.
That didn't travel the required distance. Chicks just come in, got rid of Porpizia to allow Judd a bit of time. Chris Judd, possession at 7, and glass is now broken.
Has Cousins.
Clock ticking down inside 2 minutes. Cousins will get and go, and Braun's also been very handy early. Can step inside and go by hand to Selwood. The lead is from Seavey. There's not much on back in the goal square. Comes out wide. Lynch will load up from 60 metres. Kick to the goal square. Armstrong's out positioned. And the Crows haven't really worked that out very well. Hart and Bassett, the veterans combine eventually to force it through for a minor score. Here is the mark from Brett Burton. Just another contender, probably one of about 7 or 8 he'll have by the end of the year.
Just a take-off. Look at that. Adam Selwood. He's got smashed from pillar to post the last few weeks, Adam Selwood.
It's almost the spot Rashudo knocked him out last year, exactly the same spot on the ground.
Natna has it, just the edge of the centre square. 6-goal first quarter. There's a more conventional chest mark for Burton. It's out wide, massive body, great body pressure from Braun, plenty of courage. Thompson gathers for the Crows. They've still got time, Adelaide.
So there's that corralling, not going straight. See how Sandblad didn't go to him? Just corralled off, made them go backwards.
John Cock, laterally to Hart. He goes further to Rutten. Can they set something up? Doesn't quite find its target. Seconds ticking away. 30 seconds, a couple of bounces for Rutten to half forward Stevens. Can the Eagles hang on tight? Stevens plays on, steps around, forced to kick with the left, inside 50. Rashudo's got off Chick. Has he been paid? No. Ooh. Yeah, she looks at the umpire and says, well, I thought I had enough on it.
Had a fair purchase there. Just not quite long enough. Daniel Chukdit's get here, just a handy. Now, I guess the situation now is he's not really hit the football there. He's taken arm. Isn't that a free kick?
There's the quick kick out of the pack. Glass will take the mark, so that should be about it on the scoreboard. The West Coast Eagles, the crowd will like this.
Wow, what a quarter. 6 straight, 6-3-39 rather, West Coast. Adelaide 1 straight 6.
With the best football they've played in at least 8 weeks.
Given Adelaide have been averaging 65 points against for an entire game all year, to come out and kick 39 points against them in the opening term, and to do so with free-flowing, fast-moving, attacking football, speaks volumes from the talent that does exist at the West Coast Eagles.
This reminds me of the way the West Coast Eagles started playing at the start of 2005, Jason. This is a totally different game plan that we've seen during the course of 2006. It's refreshing and exciting to watch.
We spoke of matchups when we went through the flyovers before the game and said, paper-wise, West Coast have got body shapes that match up well against Adelaide. You can then beat them with tactics. At the moment, that's what they're doing, the West Coast Eagles. They're playing the game on their terms, and they lead by 33 points on Saturday afternoon football.
You could be suspended for something like that. They could put you out for a couple of weeks for something like that. Oh, baby, please, won't you give them a little squeeze?
That's the second best quarter anyone has scored against the Adelaide Crows in season 2006. Melbourne booted 7 goals in the second quarter back in round 3. But at quarter time, the West Coast Eagles 6-3-39. Adelaide 1 straight 6. 33 points the margin to the home side. And as we mentioned before, just as we're going to the break there's 2 elements to beating the Adelaide Crows. Firstly is to physically match them up, body for body, and then secondly is to beat them tactically. Now, not many teams can match them physically. West Coast are one. Strategically this afternoon, they're executing it up perfectly.
We'll interested to see if West Coast can keep that up, because they will shorten the game. Now, Adelaide will do that. They'll bring their players in further and they'll carry the line. They'll kick over the contest now.
One other game of round 17 action on this afternoon. St Kilda taking on Richmond. Replays coming up later this evening on Fox Footy. So if you don't want to know the score, look away now. An exciting opening quarter of football. It was fast, it was ferocious, it had its highlights. Brett Burton took his weekly mark of the year contender.
Almost gets boring with Burton, doesn't it, really?
Never gets boring, that's for sure. He's a fantastic player to watch. Let's take another look. It's worth another look. Out of nothing, that's what's so exciting about them. You just don't necessarily see them coming. He just decides, oh, I'll jump at that.
Outside of the courage of Selwood, fantastic.
Good test for the Adelaide Crows here. They trail by 33 points. Big crowd in at Subiaco. Hostile environment for the Crows. Let's see what they've got in the second term. Saturday afternoon football. Here's Tim Gossage.
Seaby over the top of Clark. Kerr, quick give. Butler, they're going forward again. West Coast throws it on the boot. Mark inside 50. Sampi front spot. Lynch was taken high. Will get a free kick.
Rutten's just read this. Saw the position coming. Put the tackle on just a fraction of a second too early. And the big unit gets his opportunity. Interesting matchup in the middle. Goodwin and Kerr starting off, taking the natural possession game of Goodwin away. Having to look for Kerr.
This will be a brilliant start for the West Coast Eagles off the boot of Lynch. They've got 7.
Expert advice.
39 points. Adelaide with the best defensive unit we've seen in football for a long, long time, if ever. And the way to beat them is not 6-on-6 in your own forward half. You need support from your midfield. You need to go streaming forward, quick supply, direct football, and we've seen that from West Coast all afternoon. Again, Judd tries to attack through centre-half forward. Hansen couldn't hang on. Stevens at ground level, scraps for the football. Plenty of bodies in around it. Umpire will bounce just inside the centre square. They've been able to attack through the corridor. It's been important for the Eagles.
The forwards are doing it well because they're starting in front. Hansen doing it well, starting 1 or 2 metres in front of Stevens, who's trying to zone off a little bit too much.
You've got 3 forwards huddling in the goal square and then plenty of space for them to break out into. On this occasion, Adelaide win the stoppage. They've been dominated in close by West Coast early. Wirpunda swings it out wide to Hansen again, the hit-up man. An important cog in this machine. Adelaide with some numbers back. Hansen decides to go to the corridor. Seaby just got underneath it. It spills to the back. Bassett wrapped up by Staker. Got it to Van Berlo, who just hacks it out into wide open space. Finds the boundary line. And we'll have a throw in just forward of the wing, outside of the ground.
Joseph got up very gingerly there. Caught one on the hand or the arm.
They've gone back to their starting lineup. West Coast starting this quarter with the same 4 players on the bench as what they started with.
Certainly worked in the first term. A bounce.
They're shorting in the game. We just spoke about trying to shorten the game and the ground. Rashudo now coming right up, starting 10-15 metres outside the forward 50.
Clark and Seaby. Seaby at ground level trying to take possession, couldn't get an effective handball away. Subiaco, the biggest ground in the competition, longest and widest ground. The danger, the trap you can fall into as a visiting team here is you get caught out on the wings and the flanks, and it's a long way home from there. West Coast have made sure they've had traffic in the corridor all day. So when Adelaide have attacked, they've had to attack wide. It's a long way home. Whereas West Coast have been able to attack through centre-half forward, they bring it back into the corridor. Wirpunda does exactly that. Goes looking for Butler and finds him. Glass will look up. He'll be wanting someone across half forward, preferably to stay inside the corridor. He went back towards Jones.
The backman's kick.
And Massey took it. Gave it to Hart. They look to attack up the middle this time through Riley. Just the sheer weight of numbers in there for West Coast has just forced Adelaide out wide at times, not by choice, but by necessity. And Selwood picks it off at defensive 45.
You see Brett Burton, then he was leading backwards. He was waiting for that gun. He was waiting for the ball to be carried over the line. Didn't happen.
Braun goes to Lynch. Rutland arrived late. Just got there.
That's the second time he's done that quick. Lynch has not met the football. He's been waiting for it to come to him.
It won't be a third time, I'd imagine.
I think you'd expect him to go to the pine and have a bit of a lecture from the coach if he does that again.
Clark. Doughty ran past the footy. A lot of players around that ball. 39-point lead. Sam Butler's having a great game. 10 possessions. To join Cousins.
Interesting, they've gone with Clark as their tap ruckman at the start of the second term. Better at directing the football down away from the stoppages than Biglands, and they've switched that up.
And the front 6, the leading 6 disposal getters for Adelaide are all in their back half. That's where the ball's been most of the time so far, in the Eagles' front half. And there is another one. Hart, smothered down by Judd. Tries to win it back. Eventually the ball's gone over.
There with Clark going into the ruck. They've now worked Biglands into full forward. He's the only one of the Crows inside the forward 50.
And pushed Rashudo right up to the wing.
David Wirpunda, the loose man behind the contest. Braun, eye over the footy. He's down, but he's Not too heavily dazed. Chain of hand passes for the Eagles. Ends up with Wapunda, that loose man. He chips to Braun, who's bounced up quickly. He's 55 out. The instruction will be to get it on quick. Lynch calling for it long. He's caught at the back. Staker's there. Hart with courage. Rove to the front. No free kick. Under pressure, Bassett taken to ground. We'll have a ball up about 30 metres out from the West Coast Eagles goal.
You're right, Jim. They are calling for that football early. They're just slowing up a little bit. You know, the first quarter, you saw play on at all costs. They're just taking a little bit more time. That's playing into Adelaide's hands. They need to move the football quickly into their forward 50.
Rowan Jones doing the rucking. John Cock with strength. Van Berlo. Wanted touch ball. It's out of bounds on the full. And Seaby can bring the ball back in. He's called to play on now. He stepped around his mark. He chips it back to Graham. He can go to Braun, centre half forward. Oof. Out wide Banfield. He wants possession. Lynch is on his own at centre half forward. If Banfield sees him, does he decide to chip? No, he goes longer to the goal square. Seaby's lurking. So too Staker. Adelaide will want the boundary line or the behind line for the throw in.
Speaking of attacking via the corridor, West Coast have booted 5 straight from the corridor so far today.
Only the way to play Subiaco Oval. You normally play it wide from your back half. Your first kick normally comes out wide. You start straightening up past the centre line. You bring it back inside here at Subi. It's the quickest way home.
We want to try and attack through the front edge of the centre square. Here's a chance for another. Hits the post. Flying shot at goal from Ashley Sampi. 7-4-46 West Coast. Adelaide, 1 straight goal. More than 40,000 in at Subiaco. We've played 7.5 minutes. Thompson has it at centre half back. Steps around Hanson. Gains some territory, then kicks towards Riley. Rip Hunter will arrive with a fist. Got it to ground. Riley did well. Edwards did better. Got through some traffic. Off to Bassett. Hoisted high to centre half forward. McGregor body on body with Glass, and that just opened it up for Jamie Graham. Swings it to Armstrong. The kick had too much on it. And a wasted opportunity. Trent Henschel has played 36 minutes of this game, hasn't had a touch.
Great to see young Stephen Armstrong on the track. I thought when he played a game here against the Western Bulldogs, he wasn't too bad, but just a little bit unaccountable. Cost him his position.
Free kick in the ruck contest, a push. It's going to Matthew Clark. Trent Henschel at the moment standing at full forward. One-on-one with Staker. He leads now. It heads in the Henschel direction. Graham over the top. And Henschel still touchless.
Seavey off for a break. And Mitch Morton back on. Quinton Lynch will go into the ruck for West Coast.
So they need a lift from Trent Henschel inside 50 desperately. The tap from Clark. You could see the intention. It was looking for a shoot-out. Lynch, hurried kick. Armstrong under some pressure. Burton closing. Armstrong did well to flip it out. Here's Henschel to get involved from the pocket. Swings it back. Good-looking kick, but just to the narrow side for a minor score.
There was no awareness there from Quinton Lynch. He had Stephen Armstrong to his left. Just could have gone by a hand. He just was not even...
Well, takes a fair bit of time for the message to get through on the big unit from brain to foot.
46 plays 7.
Great screen by Daniel Chick there.
Pinpoint pass from Judd. It's ended up with Selwood. He's kicked it out of bounds on the full. So a bit ragged in the last couple of moments for the West Coast Eagles. Big chance for Adelaide. We're in their attacking zone. They haven't spent much time so far in this game. Second mark, second grab was over the line for Henschel. He knew it. We'll have a throw in.
Again, dominating possession early in the term. This quarter, West Coast 30, Adelaide 16.
Braun got it from Lynch. Cousins hit it hard, got one high. Umpire pays advantage. Back to Braun. Armstrong has been busy. Back to Cousins now. Possession 13. Stenglein make it 14. He's got his own footy. Banfield. Kick smothered down by Matner. Well done, because he was outnumbered 3-1. Marty Matner wants the boundary line. Best place for him. Problem. Deliberate. No, according to umpire Kennedy. Marty Mattner was outnumbered 4-1. He's slow to get up.
Well, Marty had nowhere to go. He was by himself, did a great job just making sure he took the possession. It was a good half, really, for them. Ooh. Not bad. That didn't do hard. What was he all for, Tim?
It was a fair tackle from Stengline. He's up, Mattner, but he's not too flash.
He's a tough boy. He'll be fine.
Here's Burton. And he'll get a free kick.
Daniel Chick did not have eyes for the football there. Took Burton out illegally.
So Mattner now comes off the ground. And Brett Burton, kick from just inside 50, tight angle. I commend Marty Mattner for that. He was outnumbered, smother on. He was outnumbered 4-1 on that wing. He's now off the ground after that heavy contact.
Oh, miscommunication. Chick was pointing away. Edwards hits the post.
Free kick will come back. I reckon he'll get that again.
Well, Banfield went to kick in. As he did, Chick looked away and was pointing at a teammate to set up the zone, and Banfield kicked it to him just as he looked away.
A couple of untidy mistakes very early here from Daniel Chick. Not necessary in this area here, just put Tyson Stegline after he kicked the footy. Took his eyes off with the fire with Burton. Giving away 2 free kicks inside the forward 50 or the back half for them. It's very, very dangerous.
As you could see there, just wasn't inspecting the football to come. Edwards to make them pay. Adelaide to claw one back. Deliberate. Straight. Crows get a desperately needed goal. Points. Adelaide be looking to attack this in bite-sized pieces. Get a couple more goals between now and half-time and reduce it to a manageable margin to attack in the second half. Thompson gave it up. Kerr explodes away. Chips inside 50. Sampi won't quite get there. Kerr followed it up. It was good footballer. Hansen. Left foot snap from 20. Is a goal! Beautiful team football from the Eagles again through the corridor.
Well, Hansen, he is really turning in to the P, the important player here for West Coast. He's straightening him up. He is just leading up and now just finishing off as well. He is becoming a very, very important player in today's game of football.
He has become the 8th goal kicker for the West Coast Eagles. Doughty received from Thompson to half forward. Selwood for his first to spoil. Here's Bode. Burton back to Goodwin. Left foot. Bouncing ball. Not a kind bounce for the Crows. Quick centre clearance, which they haven't had much of today. Still plenty of time in the contest. Wapunda goes short.
Now Simon Goodwin's just starting to rack up some possessions now, but they really have been, they haven't been clean, have they? Yeah, they've really been under the pump there, but he's now starting to rack them up. Once he starts getting his confidence going in this game, he'll be very, very careful with Simon.
We can't play tempo football when you're 6 goals down. They're going to want to open it up. They're going to want to attack.
Jamie Graham will chip. It will set Stengline a task and was made easy for Riley to spoil. Throw in at left half forward.
Which West Coast won't be disappointed about. They are very good at these stoppages, these throw-ins.
It's at the right end of the ground for the Crows. Lynch and Biglan's wait in there. Thompson, quick thinking. Waters gathered it and was forced to release. Took on the tackle. Bigland from Butler, got it to Thompson. McGregor stumbling, Glass stands in the tackle to Selwood, to Cousins. Wapunda's loose on centre wing. If they can spot him up, Waters goes by hand to Butler, being busy. Graham, what's on offer? He looks further afield, not much. So he has to loop a hand pass to Lynch. He'll come back inside to Kerr, misses the handball but has time to mop up. Eagles have 3 or 4 numbers out wide, they raffle it. One is Cousins, one is Wapunda. Selwood there, looping hand pass to Wapunda now. He runs to half forward, chips inside 50, Sampi too low. Short option, probably could have gone long to the goal square. John Cock now in rebound footy to McGregor. Burton on his own on the wing. He looks up, Rashudo's on his own inside 50. That's the direction the kick takes. Bounces off the ample chest, Chick with strength. Works it out nicely. Kerr steps around, then runs into his own man. Back to Chick.
Not sure if that counts as a tackle or a shepherd or a bump on the stat sheet, but no harm done as Cousins brings it in. Board dangerous kick as Adelaide own the corridor right here. Massey has got some support, but he's got a wall of West Coast jumpers in front of him. Thompson will elect to run at it. Doughty, now Shirley, steps inside Lynch, goes inside 50. Henschel's got 2 to beat. Outnumbered at ground level. West Coast with support. Umpires picked out a free kick. It's going to Bow.
Just grinding it out, the Crows. Not pretty to watch, but they're just grinding it out, getting the free kicks inside forward 50.
Let's have another look. It's for in the back against Waters. Matthew Bow. He's kicked 18 goals, 10 this season.
So that just a little bit of water on the ground has caused players just to lose their feet or their footing. Cousins kick into Rowan Jones, just that little bit off. Turnover football, Crows on the board.
He's had a rotten run with injury over the years. He's an important part of this side. Another poster. Things just not happening for the league leaders at the moment. They're 2-4-16. West Coast 8-4-52. The margin 36 points as we hit the 18-minute mark of the second term at Subi.
The Crows have managed to slow the game though. They're starting to get back into their area of expertise, the Crows.
Well, he who holds the lead controls the tempo more often than not. They can try to get it on their terms. Adelaide, when they're 6 goals down, just don't have the luxury of being able to play stop-start football.
Stops and run on though, Jace. It really does slow the game up. Then they can really start working into the game and rebound. They'll throw the gauntlet down shortly.
Boundary umpire paid out of bounds.
It came off the back of Cousins.
And field umpire has overruled his decision.
And off the back of Cousins' heel.
Oh, that guy lost his teeth.
His teeth or chewy. I was hoping it was the latter, to be honest. Matthew Bow goes short and finds Goodwin inside 50. I thought we were going to get a replay of the bloke with his teeth. No such luck. We might come back to it. Simon Goodwin is all class. He's kicked 10 goals, 8 for the season. And a behind today makes it 10-9. This to reduce the margin to 5 goals. Goodwin from 45 metres out. Kicks through it. Loved it off the boot. Puts it through for a goal. Adelaide get their third.
No, they need to get some football. So Seaby's gone into the ruck now. They've got their A-team, Kerr and Cousins in the middle.
Scott Thompson's been important for Adelaide. So too this man, Goodwin, throws it on the boot inside 50. Selwood clears glass. Chick, head down, gathers, dashes away from Rashudo. Kerr taken down behind play by Rashudo. Chick goes at it again. And ball goes over the line and out of play on centre wing.
West Coast's biggest issue this year in the last probably 3 months has been their inability to play 4-quarter efforts. We know Adelaide will keep going for 4 quarters. That's going to be the test. Momentum starting to change in this one.
Quiet time for Mark Rashudo. As soon as you say that, he bobs up. So too this man, Judd, to Kerr. He wants it back, the skipper. Traverses Subiaco, not a great kick. Henschel, Graham forced to spoil. Henschel went over the footy, then worked hard to keep possession. Mackner, strong tackle. Certainly no prior opportunity there. And we'll have a ball up on centre wing as Henschel now comes straight off the ground. Paul Plizier on.
Big 7.5 minutes between now and half-time, you feel? Just important.
And some poor use now from West Coast, just going inside the corridor at the wrong time.
Doughty. Wrapped up in the tackle. Jones on Brett Jones, that is, for Paul Plizier. Kerr comes off the ground for West Coast. 11 possessions, 3 kicks and 8 handballs. Clark took it out of the ruck contest. Good hand pass to the run of Edwards. Throws it on the boot inside 50. Burton almost threw the ball back to try and keep it in. And we'll have a throw in. But Adelaide certainly looking better in this second term.
They need a target inside 50, just 1 mark inside 50 for the game, and that was Simon Goodwin earlier that resulted in a goal.
Seaby got a whack on the back of the head. Here's Rashudo. Chick, interesting little touch in there. Clark gathered. Burton. Selwood taken to ground. Well done, Burton. Pulled the ball back underneath him and then squeezed it out the back, but only to the advantage of the Eagles in Butler to stand line. And the Eagles can set up, but Adelaide are working very hard in keeping the Eagles inside their defensive half.
Waters just held up at half back.
Rashido coming off the ground.
It allows Adelaide to get across now, start to fill up some space. So the Eagles will be forced to go wide on this occasion. They'll look to funnel it back, but won't have the opportunity to. Not yet anyway, as Brett Jones goes to Staker. Staker and Hansen filling such an important role, that rangy Earl Spalding type across half forward to just cover territory and provide contests. There's a link in the chain. Butler over to Braun from 60 metres out. They'll contest 20 out from goal. Almost Armstrong somehow emerged with it. Goes towards goal. A goal! What a goal from Armstrong!
That's a contender.
The quintessential something out of nothing.
It works well for them now with young Steve Armstrong doing that. That's what Sampy's very good at as well. They've got now that opportunity. One's having a break, one's on the ground, and they're just grinding out little goals like that. An opportunist goal. Fantastic work, young Steve Armstrong.
His first goal in Eagles colours. What a beauty. Umpire letting things go from that centre bounce. Waters just stood up strong. Braun and Cousins combine to half forward. Van Berlo attacks the footy. Great tackle. Interesting disposal. Doughty to Bassett. Back to Van Berlo. Numbers favour Adelaide. They set up here. Quick kick to half forward. Don't know if that was the intention, but it landed on the chest of Porplizia. Off a step. Burton's got off Selwood and should mark. And does.
As soon as he gets away, Burton only needs half a metre. And he's always going to have it over in a marking contest, because if you haven't got hand on him, you just cannot prevent that astounding leap he has.
It's a great mark.
They've just been searching for the right mix, haven't they? And Burton, you feel, is an important ingredient of it.
Cousins off the ground with 18 disposals. This is Burton.
Shot.
Terrible kick. The Breeze certainly working that ball from right to left. He didn't finish it off, yes, and Neil Craig doesn't often show that aggression.
Well, I just think they are such a disciplined side. That was a lazy kick from Burton. He really just tried to massage that through without really giving some purchase on the ball.
Waters to Brett Jones. They look to run it out through Judd. Under some pressure from Porplizia, so he decides he will switch it up and find Glass in space, and they'll attack down the commentary side. Kerr. He's got Rowan Jones leading up to the wing, draws Burton towards him, gives it to Selwood, gets it back, steps inside Goodwin. Looking to create, gives it to Braun. Arches the back, slips away from Doughty, kicks towards half forward. Staker in best position, and he calls his man into it. Good teamwork. Left it for Rowan Jones and then just screened him from behind. Jones goes inboard to Butler. Butler to Braun. Braun floats one inside 50, and it's perfect for Lynch.
He didn't wait for it that time.
I would suggest that he might have had one or two warnings, Tim. But if that football is anywhere near you, son, you attack it.
Just flings the glove away with disdain. It's become part of his ritual. Doesn't just toss it on the ground. He gives it a throw. Gets it right out of there.
Quarters. Hasn't this game really changed from what we saw to the first quarter? Real exciting, fast-moving football. Now turned into that typical West Coast Eagles Adelaide grind.
Lynch for goal number 2. A handy one in the shadows of half-time. And that is a beauty.
West Coast, 129 Adelaide, and it's in the handballs, 93 West Coast, 46 Adelaide. And Daniel Kerr himself has had 13 possessions, of which 10 have been handballs. His work rate outstanding. Time for the Crows, though. Can they squeeze one through? Riley gives it out wide. Thompson's been okay. Off a step, inside 50. Henschel over the top glass. Ball spills. Here's Bode. Bread and butter stuff. He's missed. That's what he's there for. Front and centre. Roving. He's a goal kicker.
West Coast could be careful here. They haven't been super special on bringing their football outside of their 50. After the minor scores, Adelaide do it very well.
Going to that pocket a lot, but they're getting corralled up against the boundary line and run out of space.
too close to the man on the mark. Was touched off the boot, comes from Thompson. He'll just barrel it back to the goal line. Armstrong's got to be good back there. Not there. Over the line for a goal. He's been very good, Scott Thompson. 16 disposals.
Prosciutto back on the ground. Of course, that brought Daniel Chick back on the ground. Neil Craig just looking for another goal before half-time.
Margin 34 points, 2.5 minutes remaining until the break. Seaby takes possession, goes to ground, gives it to Armstrong. Armstrong to centre half forward, Hanson with a couple to beat in the air. Stevens at the back takes the mark, gives it to Goodwin. His 14th possession coming up. 2-on-1 in the air, favoured the Eagles. Fist from behind, find its way to Braun, and Braun takes it to the line. They'll have a throw in. Just over 2 minutes as we take a look at the statistical rankings. Braun, Lynch, Burton, Kerr and Butler, 4 of the top 5 statistical players on the ground, West Coast Eagles. It's been a good effort from their entire unit so far. Edwards to centre half forward, Henschel split the pack. Bode. Goodwin again. Gets it to Riley. Pressure towards the line, tries to bring it back to Biglands, forced to spoil. Fist it to the line for a throw-in, a chance for the Crows to manufacture something late in the second term.
Watch for Clark's hands. A very good knock, ruckman. There's no doubt about him going up against the reserve, really, in Lynch.
Plenty of space goal side, but you could see what they were trying to do there. Adelaide set up with their 3 rovers to the right of screen. Clark went up to hit it to the left of screen so they could run onto it. Fortunately for the West Coast Eagles, their ruckman managed to get a hand on it.
Blood rule, I think you'll find that's Jones.
Play will be held up. Thompson just looking to see that there's none on him. Brett Jones will come off.
Again, they need to be very careful here for West Coast because Clark set it up again, looking for Bode coming through.
And that's where the big body of Lynch is important. Oh, you can see the claret there just around the ear. The big body of Lynch is important because even if Lynch doesn't get the hit out, he's just there to negate Clark. He can bash his big body into him and make sure Clark can't just get clean hands to palm it in the right direction.
He needs to make sure that what's coming out's mud.
Yeah.
He just doesn't want to make sure anything that's clean and crisp that goes into Adelaide's hands here. This is where they're very good.
So have a look at the stoppages again. They throw it up this time. Lynch did well again, got his body there, got the hands to the football. Bode tried to pinch it away from Armstrong, couldn't do so. We'll have another throw in. You spoke earlier, Willow, of West Coast dominance around the ball ups. Coming into the game today, throw-ins rather, throw-in clearances. West Coast 4th, Adelaide 13th in the competition. They've been good today again, West Coast, at the throw-ins. Porplesi almost got hands on that one, just fumbled it. Opened the door for Butler to Lynch. Now Sampi. 1:15 remaining. They just need to be tidy here, West Coast. Armstrong. Good creative handball to Butler. Opens up for Waters at centre half back. They've got some space to work into. Chipped it towards Glass. It's set up for Biglands. Glass put body on body. Waters tries to crash through. Won't get through the traffic there. Biglands again. Pinched by Kerr. Read it beautifully. Backs himself. Handballs as Bassett goes to ground. Kerr just lost some grip. And Riley saved the day. Momentarily as Stevens sprays it into the first row.
The support in numbers. Just throw a fishing net over those and you see too many players coming around.
Umpire
saying it touched.
Yeah, touched off the boot. So
throw that back in. I think Ben Cousins is too happy with the idea.
43 seconds remaining. Clark got hands on it to Prosciutto. Tried to feed it out to Van Berlo. They pile in on top. We'll have a bounce.
Brett Jones, it's pretty nasty. There's a lot of blood going down the right side of the face. So he's getting into the rooms before his teammates at half-time. So 30 seconds, it's on centre wing. Stenglein from the clearance, fresh-aired it. Banfield overrun it, Kerr can't keep it in. Braun leading possession getter with 20. Cousins 18, Butler 16. And Thompson's had an outstanding second quarter. He's got 16. And Goodwin 15 for Adelaide.
It's almost like two sides just do not want to see the opposition score in the last few seconds of the quarter.
3 goals, 6 this quarter. Adelaide, West Coast, 4 goals, 1. Stengline, yes, got it
right on the back of Rowan Jones's noggin there.
Yes.
Right into Stengline's top lip.
And he's feeling it. Here it is here in replay.
It's a teeth rattler.
He's got blood on his face. Mark Rasciuto pointing that out.
It's kind of him.
Well, all this goes on.
They're out of doctors, West Coast. He's down in the rooms with Brett Jones at the moment.
That's the physio, the one out there at the moment.
Well, Rowan Jones, he came off with a bit of claret coming back at his head, courtesy of Tyson Stengline's chin. Of course, Tyson's now having the same with his chin. They'll be working overtime.
And he's going straight to the rooms as well. So get in the queue.
Pass me the staple gun.
It's common practice and medical practice nowadays. You wait your turn in the waiting room.
Rasciuto really hard there on Saul.
And they've met before on this ground. Half-time. The West Coast Eagles at home lead by 34 points, 4 goals to 3 in that second quarter.
Well, Adelaide averaging 65 points against this year for an entire game. West Coast have racked up 64 and a half. They're 10-4-64. Adelaide 4-6-30. That had 4 goals 1 to 3 goals 6 in that second term. A big challenge for the Crows. Saturday afternoon football. The Eagles by 34 points. In recent times, West Coast have lost 8 of their last 11 third quarters. Adelaide have won their last 8 third term straight, and the goals kicked after half-time tell a revealing story. 27-50 in recent weeks in favour of Adelaide after half-time, so they are strong finishers. We take a look at the numbers in the last 5 weeks. The Crows averaging 10 goals a game. They've kicked 50. West Coast just 5 goals a game after half-time. If that's the case today, it'll go close to being a very tight finish.
Well, and I think we'll get that close finish too, Jace. I just haven't seen the West Coast Eagles put their foot down on the accelerator and trying to hammer aside. They just seem to close up and get very defensive and give sides opportunity.
Well, they've only won all 4 quarters of a game, would you believe, once in season 2006, despite winning 12 games. They won all 4 quarters against the Brisbane Lions in round 5.
I can tell you that there's been some pretty ordinary weather moving to the south. It looks like it's Miss Subiaco Oval. The breeze is certainly going to the left, if anything favouring the West Coast Eagles. Chris Judd's gone to the short sleeves to start the second half.
34 points the margin. Saturday afternoon football. Jason Bennett, Peter Wilson and Tim Gossage with you from Subi.
Biglands for Adelaide. Here is Judd. Shirley was taken high. No free kick. Doughty. Spears a hand pass to Riley, to Goodwin, to Massey. Adelaide get first usage of the footy. McGregor got a heavy hit early in the game. He's up and at him now. Here's Shirley. Good run again, Riley. They combine again. Here's Bode at forward 50. Rasciuto wants the ball in the pocket. Tight on the boundary line. Very slippery underfoot. Has a shot on goal. Great start for the Crows. Rasciuto from the impossible angle.
Points the margin. A dream start for the Crows in this second half. On the board early with some magic from the skipper. He leads from the front. He's done it again and again. Bigland's hands on the football. Goodwin combines with Edwards. And Shirley goes to centre half forward. Bode front and swear. Gives it to Riley for 2 in a minute. His handball just in front of McGregor. And that's all Darren Glass needed to pounce. Still under some pressure, West Coast, but Stengline gives it to Wirpunda. Seaby's got to stand and wait. Shirley arrived late, got it to ground. Van Berlo now to Edwards. Went to give it to Massey, a miscommunication. It was plucked away by Wirpunda. Hanson one-on-one with Stevens. That's been an engaging contest. We'll have a throw in. The Crows out on the front foot in this third term. So look at the steal. Here's the give. He just realised halfway through the handball and he was trying to rope it back, but it was gone. Biglands again with body strength. He said at half-time that he just needed to get in there and crash and bash into Seaby. He's done it well early in the third term. Braun to Kerr. Ugly kick. Opens the door again for Adelaide. Now to Goodwin. Goodwin can go to McGregor, who's got some space. Glass will zone back across the defensive 50 and try to fill the hole. Henschel leads up the middle. Rasciuto by himself inside 50. One-on-one with Chick. He heads in that direction. Rasciuto in front. Graham comes across with an important fist. Lynch has to stand and wait. Henschel wins the football at 55. Gives it off to Goodwin. He's a left footer. Can get around onto it. Couldn't get the purchase. Chips it high. It'll suit Class, and he does well.
They can set up here, West Coast, but they've been under siege. Kicked too much on it for Graham. Well done, Henschel. He's got some supports.
He's been penalised, Jamie Graham, for putting his knee on Henschel's back.
Rain falling now at Subi.
That's a new one.
Edwards off a step into the pocket. Burton brings it to ground.
I'd like to actually understand the free kick in this area. Is that in the back? What is that if a free kick?
No, it's not.
He showed a knee and the umpire's pointed to his knee. He's made up his own rule.
Here's Judd. Spinning move to Seaby. Left foot to centre wing. Cousins attacks the footy. Jones may have to go back. He does to Stengon. Gets a very good shepherd from Cousins. Frees him up. Rutten ran underneath the footy. But he's out number 2-1. But did brilliantly, the All-Australian fullback. Then may have lost it again. Numbers. Braun. Interesting pass. The shortest one we've seen for the day. Took the straight up. Was taken by Staker. And there is raining here at Subiaco Oval. The Eagles will be happy with that, and they are kicking with a pretty strong breeze too, going very strongly to the left. Only a couple of goals. But at the moment, Adelaide are looking the more aggressive side. Van Berlo with patience kicks through traffic. And Punda.
I guess the flip side of being such a well-disciplined and systematic team is that you don't divert away from that very often, and so when the system isn't working, and it hasn't in the first half for Adelaide, they need to kind of reinvent it now, don't they, and go back to a different plan.
Yeah, but again, I think you said they're very disciplined, Jake. If they just keep doing it, all they have to really do is lift their work rate within their game plan, and I'm sure they'll come forward. They're already doing it.
And they need a structure up forward. They need to get that side of their game worked out. They've got the potential there, though. There's no doubt about it.
Possession 15 for Judd. Set Hansen a task. Hands has been a good contest between Stevens and Hansen. Stevens also winning plenty of the footy.
Let's have a look at Chris Judd getting across the ground at the present time. Robert Shirley with him. Just looks a little downbeat. Didn't train.
Here's Kerr. Off hand. Snips around the corner. Misses. Didn't train, yes. I just think he... To be honest, I just think he's unwell. I just don't think he's 100%.
And look, you can just see that in his body language at the moment, Tim. It just doesn't look like he's travelling special.
He's had 15 possessions. Imagine if he was feeling good.
Now he'll jump up and kick a goal of the day or something.
John Cock to Bassett. The in-your-face pressure from both sides has really meant kicking in today has been a laborious task. Difficult to get clean breaks away from the restart. Doughty gives it off to Rutten again. He's confronted with the problem of no free options. They try to manufacture a man. Lynch did well, got a hand on Edwards' handball. Forced a turnover. Butler now to Judd to finish. Right on cue. Forget the sniffles.
Now the task for Adelaide. Can they score it back here? Can Biglan's whack the pressure back on Subi? They need this clearance to make sure they stay in touch.
35 points to margin. Seaby, beautiful touch to Kerr. Thought he got one high, he gave it to Cousins. Inside 50, big fly hard, good mark. The quick give, and Adelaide can set up from half-back where they do like to set things up for their forwards, running hard through the midfield. Here's McGregor to Edwards. Bit of free space. Tries to get around Glass, spears it in, Bode, hand in Banfield, the veteran.
Just a stretch from Banfield there. Caught, just caught midfoot. He just couldn't get his footing. He just got over there and got that hand. Great grab from a big vet. 300+ games. Comes back from a broken arm.
300? Here's Biglan's hand pass.
300, is he?
No, I don't think so. Tell me about that. I think I've missed a big story.
Oh, hang on.
Glass. Chick. Dashing. You're having a moment, Willow.
307. Tim,
is
thanks.
it 307?
There you go. That's all right. Thanks very much. 308, actually, today. How do you feel there, Tim?
Well, it's not a big story. It happened a couple of months ago.
Braun does well. They're working hard now, West Coast. They were in a bit of a slumber early in this term. Another looping hand pass. Graham, spearing pass. And Hanson has had a very good day.
Oh, dear. Good vision here from Graham. Could have blazed away, gone to the 50, had plenty of room in front of him to take the opportunity. Very disciplined, squared it up to his big centre-half forward.
Of all grades you're talking about, not just AFL, because he hasn't played 300 AFL.
Yes, yes.
It's Hanson. From 45 metres out, directly in front. Eagles have a dozen.
Eagles 12-5. The air's very thin when you're 6'8", Tim, isn't it? Up there.
Adelaide 5-6, 41 points the margin. The Eagles in control, 10 minutes gone, third term. Adelaide need to get a string of consecutive goals, but they need to get their hands on the football first. The Eagles have got the real smell of blood in the water. They want to end it now. Cousins and Weir-Punda link up and go wide to Staker, couldn't quite hang on. The rain's disappeared as quickly as it has arrived. A rainbow over the back at Subiaco. Not going to make any hopeless quips about pots of gold or anything. Not at round 17 anyhow. Rutten's got it in the defensive goal square. Here's John Cock. Just looking to get some fluency into their game. Adelaide, they just haven't been able to. West Coast have been so disciplined themselves at just getting back and putting defensive pressure on. Stevens did well there. Took it away from Sampi. Rashudo taken down by Chick. Will get a free kick. Daniel Chick not happy about it. It looked to be there. Rashudo squares it up. Edwards will get some pressure from behind. Releases the football inside 50. Burton sets himself again. Spectacular if ineffective. Bigland's at ground level. Henschel off a step, bends it back and kicks a goal. Good finish from Trent Henschel.
A murky old day. There's sunshine around. Margin 35 points. Still can't get over it. His Cousins. Chick. Stengline's broken for him at half back. Again, the hard lead from Hanson. Mark 6. And Jamie Graham has got loose in the middle of the ground. And Banfield, who's nearing 300 games, has marked it at half forward. The lead comes from Lynch. He goes to the longer option. Sampi's nearby, so too Staker. Sampi roves the ball. Great stuff, John Cobb. Sampi equal to the task. Kicks the goal.
Eagles respond again. Margin 41 points. They are standing firm in this third quarter. They've kicked 3 goals, 1.
Very important
2 goals straight.
Samp, isn't he? Coming, he's 2 goals, 1 today. He's just very important for that X factor. He just really brings their forward line alight.
Seaby to Judd, to Kerr inside 50 again. John Cock goes back one-handed. Paddled to his own advantage. Lynch came across. Calls for deliberate. Nothing doing. Throw in. 40 metres out from the West Coast goal. They've led all day. Adelaide spent no time in front at all.
Daniel Kerr's been given the job, and Simon Goodwin, who's getting a fair bit of footy.
Third man up. Bassett. Goodwin had it dispossessed. It comes to Cousins off a step. They've got another one. They're kicking them from everywhere today.
2 goals off the boot of Ben Cousins. Neil Craig will work out how can he stem the flow and then try something positive, because the Crows are not playing with the same surety that has seen them dominate this competition this year. And here is Goodwin. Quick kick, long kick. Glass, interesting, hit him right in the head, and he's not feeling too flash, let me tell you. Darren Glass just attacked that footy. Yes. Yep, that would hurt with a wet ball.
I'm right.
Oh, right in the mush. It's on the forward 50 for the Crows. Riley and Stengline. There's Ben Cousins. You'd think that a medalist would be on, someone would be on him.
You just would have thought that he was pretty important to cover up.
And here's Wapunda, and still he's on his own. Wapunda keep it in. He can Lynch, slips, goes to ground, and still no one picks up Ben Cousins back in the middle of Subiaco Oval. There's the midfield rankings, and Daniel Kerr having a very good day. Seaby coming off the ground. Free kick to Lynch.
Has been more than competitive in the ruck, Quinton.
Well done, Stevens. Just nudged Hansen underneath the footy. Bassett, the give, John Cock. Burton went to give it, but Shirley fell over. There's Bassett again. A lot of players inside Adelaide's forward half. Glass. Bode read it off the pack. Plizia, step around Goodwin, classy. Riley, quick kick, straight down the throat of Wapunda.
16th touch for him coming up. Continues his good run of form against the Adelaide Crows. At 32 here last year in that round 22 game. Today spent a bit more time up the ground and done some damage there as well. Good mark from Jones. Runs away from Tyson Edwards. Handball towards Braun was a breakdown in communication. There's been a few of those today. We'll have a throw in. Centre wing adjacent to the interchange gates. There's a bit of activity there as well with Kerr coming on for Cousins and Armstrong coming on for Braun.
It's a mass interchange.
The Eagles continuing their good run against the Crows. They lead by 47 points halfway through the third term. Stengline flings it out. Van Berlo got boot to ball. Lynch tracks back. Burton coming the other way. Goodwin tries to run him down as well. Kerr got the football. Sweeps it back to Graham. Waters leads hard towards the centre of the ground. He heads in that direction. Got a couple of metres on Hart. Hart kept his feet. Umpire called play on. Can go short over the top to Bode or Thompson. In reality, he went to neither.
We just didn't see that at all. That was a direct kick to Glass.
Glass picks it off with the greatest of ease. Gives it to Graham. Now Waters. He's got Graham coming past. Can go over the top. Jones missed the body. Just closed the window on the opportunity. Stevens under pressure. Heads boundary side. Bassett can go short. And Adelaide will slip away. Here's Thompson on centre wing. Can give it to Doughty. Wide open inside 50. Can go long for Burton to run onto. One-on-one with Selwood. He'd back himself every time. That's where the matchup doesn't work. That's why he's such a difficult player to match up on. You can pick players who can run with him around the ground. He's got phenomenal endurance and speed. But in the air, for a guy his size and shape, he's very, very difficult to match.
That came from a breakdown in communication between Hansen and Rowan Jones, the other end of the ground. I mean, it was a 2-on-1, and they just didn't work it out at all well. And Adelaide about to capitalise.
He's kicked two behind. Just to get on the board with a major this afternoon. He makes no mistake. Adelaide get their 7th.
Margin back to 41 points.
They still go with it. Henschel, the shooter, still inside the 450 when it just should be Burton.
Clark. Centre clearance would be good for Adelaide. Back-to-back goals would be even better. Chick left Rashudo. He's got superior pace. Lynch always provides some sort of action. Jones, strong tackle. Backpedaling Hansen. Morton, some rare field time. Kick back to the front of the square. Kerr never took his eyes off the footy. Took to mark. Went to play on. And umpire's paying a free kick.
But no 50.
Yeah, gets taker. So it must have been for a Shepherd to allow Kerr to come through.
Doughty drops the mark. It's got time and space. John Cock. Feigning for a free and didn't get it. Jones has to stand and wait. Gets a free for a push against Ben Hart. He says, I had eyes only for the footy. Jones hand passes it back to Butler. He calls for someone to come at him to lead. Stand, stake up. Here's Kerr. Interesting give. Rutten. Adelaide under enormous pressure. Jones spears a hand pass out to Kerr. Snaps it on the boot. He's happy with that one. They won't take that off him. It's a goal.
It was at least 5 or 6 attempts to get that ball out there from the Crows, but just rebounded every time from West Coast Eagles players. Their forward line players just biting and scratching and keeping that footy here. It just worked overtime, giving themselves the opportunity. Knowing John Worsfold pretty well, he'd be pretty happy with the way that looked.
But margin back out to 47 points. West Coast have added 5 goals won this term. Adelaide 3 straight goals. 47 points the margin, 22.5 gone in the third.
Can the Crows look for a shooter? Can he go into the middle and give them something? Or are they just too busy protecting their captain?
Hasn't spent a lot of time in the midfield at all this year.
Well, they used to go to him.
In fact, he's averaged 20+ possessions in 9 of his last 10 seasons. This year just 14 as he's played as a permanent forward. Ball towards Henschel. Gives it off to Portpleasure. Tries to get through a tackle, can't do so. Ball still alive there for Portpleasure, stripped of it by Stenglein. Graham, handball to Waters, was optimistic at best. Butler, he's wrapped up, good tackle Portpleasure, went back again. Waters puts his body in, it's fierce out there at the moment. No one can get an even break, there's a free kick right at the death of that passage of play for an arm over the shoulder. It's going the way of the Crows. Shirley gives it off to Matner, who's back in the action. Inside 50 to McGregor. Good kick, good strong hands from Ken McGregor. He'll kick from right on 50. Just his 6th touch coming up. It's been a quiet day so far. And just outside the arc. Goes long, goes very long. That's a fantastic kick. And a goal.
Some doubt on Ken McGregor coming into the game with a calf injury. A heavy knock early. A strong shepherd from Jamie Graham, but he's got a much-needed goal for the Crows. Chris Judd walks the boundary line with Daniel Chick, and I can tell you, Chris Judd does not look anywhere near healthy. Imagine if he was. He's had 17 possessions and kicked a couple of goals. Edwards, interesting disposal. Armstrong, Kerr, heard a voice out wide. Thompson gathers for the Crows. Braun, Armstrong goes short. Staker stands and marks just the required distance. Hasn't had a lot of it, Staker. Just his 4th touch. Jones, Rowan Jones. He was the last man in that pack in a juggling effort, and has a chance to break the century mark, and it was off a couple of hands for mine. Been paid the mark. He's not the most reliable kick, Rowan Jones. 30 metres out, 45-degree angle.
And exactly what you'd expect. You know your player well, Tim.
Oh, yeah, do I? Let's rewind the tape. 96 plays 54. And John Cock, quick bring in. And Bassett can go for the Crows to centre wing. Matner under pressure, or Pleasure. Edwards, strong tackle, Braun. Forces the turnover, Stenglein. One high, umpire pays advantage. Armstrong's on his own, can Waters spot him up? It's a long kick. Well done, Bassett. Spoiled it, but it hasn't gone out, it hasn't killed it entirely. Armstrong's hand pass, ordinary. Edwards, well done, Sampy. Jones. And the ball up and there's one of those knees in the back that was played at the other end, Peter, that you're a bit bemused by.
42 points the margin. 26.5 minutes gone. Deep in the pocket. Seaby got the tap. Jones from the angle. Across the face of goal. It's still alive at the square. Kerr with one of those trademark high chest marks that he takes. Daniel Kerr having a super afternoon. Coming up for his 26th possession. 8 clearances, 4 inside 50s, and this for his second goal. And he makes no mistake.
The set play from West Coast on that boundary throw-in. Only 15, 20 metres out. They play it every time. Always bringing the football forward to the boundary line just to hook it to the top of the hot spot. And Kerr's not going to let you down because he does like running with the flight of the footy. Taking that mark. Comes up for a break, Daniel Kerr. Chris Judd back onto the ground. Well, from some set plays and stoppages, West Coast continue to dominate. They love these boundary line throw-ins. Sets them up time and time again with the midfield quality they have. Of course, the finishing skills of their midfield in Daniel Kerr. Exciting to watch.
26 touches for Daniel Kerr, 18 handballs in that. His work rate enormous. There's another one. Cousins, Armstrong. It's another interesting give. Braun does well, squeezes it out. Again, numbers favour West Coast. Stengline off a step. He'll be happy with that in the end. We'll have a throw in 30 metres out.
And Steve Armstrong, just at times, feels like he needs to give it off. He's coming back from the WAFL where normally he's not giving off. He's the one that's going to be protected. So just in two minds at the moment, but he'll get his touch.
His disposal seems to work better when he's flat on his back.
It was a lovely goal.
Clark and Seaby, and it's a free kick, and it's going to go to Clark for a high tackle.
Watch the Crows players. They all run up now. They'll congregate on the corner of the square.
And Ben Hart and Tyson Stengline, former teammates, of course, mixing it in that little contest. Hart drops the mark and then grabs Stengline around the ankle. He'll come back.
They've shut that down well today, West Coast. They have really negated that tactic magnificently.
But that's really worked well for the Crows. But when you're just sitting on the outside and you're corralling them all in, preventing any clean leads, gives the opportunity for that turnover, Jason. It's worked very well for West Coast today.
Talking to a few of the media boys at half-time, and their opinion has been a very, very good coaching performance by John Morsfield against the best in the business in Neil Craig. Rowan Jones through traffic to Judd, runs in and kicks his third. Easy.
Rowan Jones has been directly involved in the last couple of goals. He's been an amazing survivor, played just 20 of 47 games in seasons 2004 and 5, but this year he's returned, playing game number 14 and been involved again.
Should have played in the grand final. He was in very good form going into the grand final last year, but got injured.
Well, have a look at his form. I mean, he fought back. He was very good early in the year, dropped off, but is now fighting back again. Been a great performance today from Jones.
Averaging 20 touches a game, Rowan Jones, this season. He's had an influence in those, direct influence, those last couple of goals.
He's only had 3 kicks, 12 handballs, so he's been very good by hand.
An unselfish gift to Judd for his third. Free kick to the Eagles, advantage paid. And Cousins to Banfield. Banfield towards Hanson. And the feeling there's a bit of showtime about West Coast now. They want to put the foot down and really make a statement. They've broken the back of Adelaide. 54 points the margin. No one's collared the Crows like this since late 2004. Hart to Clark. Gives it up. Stampy man on the spot again. Handball partly smothered by Hart. They've still got numbers there. Butler can go over the top. Armstrong for the finish. Yes! Gets his second. Steve Armstrong, another good story. Was Melbourne's best first-year player back in 2002. Played 18 games in 2003 after fighting back from the Bali bombings and the injuries he sustained. Just the 6 games in 04, just 6 games last year. Was cut by Melbourne at the end of the year, rookie listed this year. And he's come out to play his second game this afternoon and done some things.
And look, and that's better by Armstrong. So, you know, Tim, he probably could have given it over across the centre. Actually, Hansen was in there waiting for the football. But look, I'm happy he's backed himself here. Look, that's what he's good at. He's got to get that self-belief and confidence back into his game to make sure he stays in this lineup. He did that, and it was a nice goal.
If you thought the Eagles would be 10 goals in front of the long, short price favourites, the Premiership Adelaide would have been taken out of this ground in a straitjacket. Rowan Jones. Another handball back to Braun, 30 metres out, moving up and under. Judd tries to free the arms. Van Berlo under pressure. Cousins scoops it up. Sampi can mark his own ball. Thompson, brilliant take. Too quick for Riley. And this is just relentless from West Coast. Sampi on Stevens.
He's just been very good, Sampi. He's just attacked the football with gusto. Stevens just got in the way.
Jones again by hand. It's on the Eagles forward 50. Quick give. Hansen's in the area. Was he being held? He's going to get a free kick.
The jumper being tugged. Just going to give that every time now. As soon as that jumper moves.
It's unravelling for Adelaide in a big way today. And this will be a 9-goal quarter for West Coast.
Been a long time, I think, since West Coast have kicked 20 goals in a game.
And Ashley Hansen has kicked a couple.
Round 3, Willow. He kicked 20 goals, 16 against the Tigers.
Steers at home. 11-goal lead to the West Coast Eagles.
The opportunity's just coming here from the tenacity of their midfield and their small forwards today. They've just been very good, West Coast. They're taking that step up, come out of that slumber, Jason, you were talking about. They've just been a lot quicker across the ground and harder at the football. Just making sure that Adelaide haven't had that opportunity to rebound out of their defensive half. They have just been relentless.
And they've just re-exerted their dominance at the clearances in this quarter, back to 18-8 in favour of West Coast this term.
I tell you, that's a great sign for West Coast, especially for Mark Seedy.
Make it 19-8. Cousins gets another one. Hansen to half forward. Enormous for the confidence, not only as a team, but individuals within this team benefiting greatly from this hit out this afternoon. And at three-quarter time, the Subiaco faithful stand as one and applaud their side, who slammed on 9 goals 2 to 4 goals straight in that term. West Coast have taken a 34-point half-time lead and extended it out to 66 points. West Coast 19-6, 120. Adelaide 8-6, 54. Hansen and Judd have got 3 apiece. West Coast doing it beautifully at Subiaco.
Exciting for players to start having a look and resting them up as the quarter goes on.
We made the point just before the break that this has been an important 3 quarters for these sides, not just as a team, but individually, the West Coast Eagles, I mean. Well, some of those guys are desperately low in confidence, and today would have done them a world of good. One of those is Ashley Sampi.
Yeah, look, and they're rallying behind him because I think all these players for the West Coast understand how important this boy is to their lineup, and they're getting around him and geeing him up, and it's been a very good return of form for young Sampi. Very important for the West Coast.
A 9-goal third term from the Eagles. Some scintillating and relentless football in that.
The other positive also is the performance of Seedy. I mean, the pressure's gone up. Is it every time a ruckman falls over for this club, the next one has stood up? Gardner went out. Cox put his hand up. Now Cox injured. Now Seavy's put his hand up to be the number 1.
Final term from Subiaco. West Coast lead it by 66 points in front of more than 40,000. Jason Bennett, Peter Wilson, and here's Tim Gossage for the final quarter action.
Staggering scoreline. Armstrong and straight into trouble in the shape of Riley. Secondary bounce. Close kicking with the aid of whatever breeze there is to the left of screen. There is Seaby. By letting it go, it's like a pinball in there. Thompson. Massey thrown out the back. They just let it go, and good 25 seconds ran off the clock. That contest, the ball travelled 2 metres.
Greg staying with his stars, Shooto and Chick.
Bigland's the big body. The ball's moved 5 metres in the opening minute of play. Seaby does well. Umpire thought about paying a free kick. Rapunda overran it. Thompson tried hard. So to Goodwin. Edwards. Shirley. Springboard from half back for Adelaide. Burton stopped. Ball cleared his head. Chick got a shepherd from Selwood. Good kick, Chick. And Rowan Jones.
10 touches in the third term, Jones. Kerr had 12, Cousins 11, so 33 possessions between those 3 players in the third quarter.
Judd marks. And the punter's coming off the ground. Might be precautionary because the physio's coming off with him.
Yeah, just the top of his hamstring. Tim seems to be strapped up. Normally he would have just picked that football up with ease, but he went down to bend and he was restricted.
He did have a quiet week on the track. Here's Stengline's kick inside 50. Lynch did well to force the spoil. Adelaide players over the footy. Eagles players want holding the ball. Umpire Wen let it go for a long time over a ball up 35 metres out from the Eagles' goal. And there's David Rapunda walking the boundary line.
See a little bit of that strapping protruding from the right side of his shorts. Bigland's over the top. Stengline taken down by Edwards. Lynch in there for support. Have another bounce. They've dominated the stoppages today, West Coast, 39-27 in their favour. They have absolutely blitzed, particularly around the throw-ins, 18-9. Staker couldn't get it. Judd did. Great vision to Lynch for the finish. The big unit's got 3. Chris Judd with the assist. The margin out to 72 points.
He's shaped to take the knockout as it's gone through. He just bled off the back there. Quinton Lynch just bled off. No one went with him. There he is by himself. Did that very well. Contested the ball, then just bled out of the contest, became a spare man. Starting to learn the art.
So Quinton Lynch gets his 3rd. And the Eagles now lead by 12 goals. Correct. Kerr just fending Goodwin away. Bode underneath the pack. Edwards, was he taken high? No free kick. Another bounce between centre and centre half forward. Now, Graham Johncott's coming off the ground. I can tell you that he did certainly intimate to Neil Craig at 3/4 time that he had something wrong with his foot or his ankle. He pointed down to it. He's come off the ground now. Matner's come on. And a free kick.
Daniel did that well, Daniel Kerr. His hand on on the Goodwin's arm there and just
so
bled that.
There is concern for Johncott's right leg, right foot. Here's Braun, busy as always. Had a great start to the game. Big fly again, but this time it's Thompson. And Hart. It's no surety at all, but they've worked it to the centre of the ground with a chain of hand passes. Adelaide Allowed to stroll through the middle was Goodwin. Here's Burton. Big fly, no mark. Numbers favour West Coast towards the boundary line. Selwood kept it in. It's the sort of day they're having. Waters, long kick to half forward. Staples held, didn't get a free kick. Kerr met Edwards. And then wins the footy to Cousins, to centre half forward, but Hart in best position, should mark for Adelaide under pressure from Jones, who gets a free kick. He's paid the mark, in fact.
Serpy again front and centre, but the kick will come back to Ben Hart. Ben Cousins with his 30th touch, to go with Braun's 30 as well, and Kerr 28. 88 touches between the three, and that'll be 50 against Quinton Lynch. 72 points the margin. 6 minutes gone, final term. Ben Hart with the football. Prosciutto breaks from its centre half forward. They play the huddle. McGregor now leads away to the pocket. Was well orchestrated by the Adelaide Crows. Haven't been able to do much of that this afternoon. They've been out-crowed, really beaten at their own game by the West Coast Eagles, who really have just shut down their set plays.
The midfield didn't get the opportunity to come down and corral that position. So they had the opportunity for McGregor to make that lead from the pack, or from their gathering.
Huge run up for McGregor. This for goal number 2 from 45 metres out. Crowd tells the story. Minor score. Margin 71 points as Neil Craig looks on.
Can West Coast improve their performance about bringing the ball out of their back half?
Chick to Jones, back to Chick. Goes himself. Jones went alongside him. He rode shotgun for him. Ran themselves both into trouble. Prosciutto fed it back to McGregor. Goes inside 50. There'll be all West Coast players there. Armstrong has got Banfield in support. Burton flashed across the screen momentarily. Armstrong now to Banfield. He's under some pressure. Good scrapping from the Crows. Bode goes in. So does Van Berlo. Massey arrives late and they force a stoppage.
Well, again, not very convincing, are they, bringing it out from that back 50? They just struggle. I guess when he's on the bench, they wear a punter with that hamstring. It was normally their best choice as far as a designated kick is concerned.
Kerr and Armstrong collide. Such is their intensity and focus at the football. Two words that have really summed up West Coast performance today: intensity and focus. It's been on from the word go. You could sense it in the opening minute. And they have not looked back. Bassett to Hart. And the turnover comes to Cousins. West Coast looking to win all 4 quarters of a game for just the 2nd time this season. Lynch up forward. Sampy front and centre's a good sign. Can bring it back to Staker. Can go himself. Point blank range. Kicks the goal. Staker.
The new hit series that's changing Australian lifestyles returns 7:30 Wednesday.
Are your
14 goals, 2 from the corridor, as West Coast have done today. To dismantle the Adelaide system to that extent is a remarkable performance. It just breathes life in a season 2006, doesn't it?
It just shows how important it is against the Crows to move the football quickly. Direct.
More handballs than kicks for the West Coast Eagles. 174 handballs, 167 kicks. They go by hand again. Banfield receives from Jones. Butler. Morton. Another hand pass to Hanson. Steps around Stevens. Inside 50. Kicks on goal and misses. Adelaide have added 1 point. West Coast have added 2 goals, 1. There was some concern for Thompson from the physio medical staff a couple of moments ago. He waved them away. Goodwin. There comes the run from Matner. Went a long way. Had the staggers up. Gets to centre half forward. Jamie Graham. It clears his head. Matner's kick is a goal. Lovely long kick. Straight through the middle of the ground from centre half forward. And the Crows. A rare goal.
Really goes to show, though, Subiaco Oval needs to be paid from down the spine. I mean, outside it was a solo run. JB? That is the only way to really play it easily. Straight down the middle. West Coast have done it all day. Was heard very quickly from Adelaide how easy it is to score here when you go direct.
There's no putting the cue back in the rack for West Coast. Cousins has come back onto the ground.
Round 22 last season, Adelaide out-strategised the West Coast Eagles. West Coast learned from that, and they used it against Adelaide with great success in the preliminary final rematch 3 weeks later. And again today, we're seeing that they've got the strategies to dismantle this Adelaide side. It makes for a fascinating September showdown should they meet again. Quinton Lynch has kicked 3. And a chance from 45 metres out to go back and add to that tally. And really, we spoke earlier in the day, the most any team I think has kicked against Adelaide in a row this year has been 5 goals. A couple of sides did it very early in the year. Today, Adelaide haven't been able to string consecutive goals together. They've been beaten at their own game in that regard. Every time they've managed to get a goal or two here or there,
Hasn't this boy improved with his marking skills? Amazing. He could not mark this time last year. And that's what's making him a player.
the most consecutive goals they've kicked all day is 2, Adelaide, and that run finishes again with Lynch kicking his 4th. 2 in the second, 2 in the last as Daniel Kerr comes off for a well-earned spell. And the West Coast Eagles giving their fans plenty to get excited about, breathing some real life and belief into their campaign. With 5 weeks remaining between now and September, they've just kicked it up a gear, to a gear that many people thought they may have lost.
Contested possession really has been the key to West Coast today. In close, they've done it very well, giving their players opportunity.
Staggering stats for the West Coast Eagles. Their top 5 possession getters, Braun, Cousins, Kerr, Butler and Jones, have had significantly more handballs than kicks. They're doing their damage by hand, almost playing Adelaide at their own game.
There'll be plenty of sides watching this and dismantling it.
Rowan Jones has had 18 handballs and 4 kicks.
It's almost like they've designated 3 or 4 players to get inside the contest and feed it out. They're the ones that have done the hard work by hand. They're feeding it to their on-ballers that are coming past. Designated ball getters.
Seaby, as Wilson has mentioned, had an outstanding day in the ruck against Clark and Biglands. Shirley, quick kick to half forward. Selwood fresh-aired it. That allowed his opposite number in Burton to run on 50. Kick on goal. Henschel lets it go through. And Adelaide get their 10th. And Brett Burton has been one of their best.
2 goals to Burton. 1 in the third and now 1 in the last. Margin at 72 points.
This could turn into be a very long quarter. Seems to be a battle of the clearances. The pressure on the scoreboard. Rashudo back on the ground and straight into the middle. We spoke about this, JB. We haven't seen Mark Rashudo in the middle very much during the course of this year. But there he is.
Neil Craig just taking the opportunity to do a little bit of experimenting now with a few structures and a few different options, I'd suggest.
Mitch Morton's in the middle for West Coast.
And John Worsfold about to do the same thing. Now's the time to just start testing a few theories, given that these two sides would fully expect to cross paths again come September, should things pan out as the ladder currently suggests they might.
As he continues to experiment. The big unit, Lynch goes into the ruck. Seaby now moving forward. Plays stationary role. Forward pocket, full forward.
Lynch did well, got it to Morton, who was hammered from behind. Banfield to Jones. Graham has been impressive. Braun set Lynch a task, but he's just such a big body that Thompson struggled to get him to ground, and Lynch got the arms free. Banfield to Hansen. He's got through a mountain of work today, Ash Hansen, for his 14 possessions. Over to Butler, who can get it and go. He can run all the way to 50, Butler. He can wind it up from 50. Can he bend it back? It won't get there. Staker at the front of the contest. Mattner under some pressure. Wants the boundary line. Well behind, and he'll accept the minor score.
Just got too close to the man on the mark. Butler probably ran another 3 metres too far.
Just didn't get Edwards, just wasn't putting any pressure on from behind. I think it threw him off.
Bassett went looking for Massey. It's a 2-on-1. It could come straight back in for West Coast. Cousins and Jones, they've both been damaging today. Jones with touch number 24 goes short and tidy to Stenglein. Tyson Stenglein against his old side. Chance to go back from right on 50. Kicked 6 goals, 2 for the season, Tyson Stenglein. This for goal number 23 against this previously watertight Adelaide defence. The damn walls have broken today. Stenglein from 50, across the face of goal. Pitches just inside the line for a throw-in off hands.
He's played every minute, barring about 45 seconds when he went off for the blood ball just before half-time, Tyson Stenglein.
The only man to do so for West Coast. For Pleasure. Prosciutto. Scrubby looking kick towards the middle. Banfield will get there first. He left it behind, but Hansen was buttering up firstly to Shepherd and then got the football. Kicked it into Riley. Stevens fed it to Bode. He goes to ground. Tries to get it back to Stevens. Morton slipped in. Gives a little handball to Braun. Braun can go inside 50. The kick wasn't good. Bassett cut it off. Headed towards the boundary line. Throw it in. There's a real sense of drama and theatre with that now, isn't there? It's people. It's a bit like the old ball call. Up they go as Rowan Jones comes off.
Oh, it's a mass appeal.
Bigland's at the front, Lynch at the back. Bode won the football, got it to Prosciutto. Now to Edwards. Feeds it back to Paul Pleasure. Armstrong had him in the crosshairs and took him down. Banfield to Staker at 50. Wheels around on the arc. Gives it back to the veteran. He kicked it straight into his opponent. Prosciutto, the beneficiary, he gives it to Bassett.
Who gives it to Doughty, who gives it to Thompson. And there's Peter Wilson's game plan, straight up the middle, and they all peel. He ran a long way without bouncing the footy. Now he's had a couple within 5 metres. Again, he runs a long way, gets it to 50, kicks to the goal line. Inaccurate.
It would have been a handy goal if he had kicked it. He's run from the back edge of the centre square.
Is their leading possession getter Thompson, 27, Braun 36, Cousins 33 and Kerr 30. And Quarters enjoying the field time, and here's Cousins again. Enjoyed the week off, did Ben. Banfield. He's going to get it back, Cousins, from Lynch. He's sharing it around, and Morton at centre half forward. He has Braun out wide. He goes to the longer option, and that is Armstrong.
Morton in the middle of an eternity.
Crowd yelling. Seaby. Bassett. Rebound out of their last line of defence, the Crows, and again, straight up the middle. Chain of hand passes. The Crows have worked it to centre half forward. Burton attacks the footy. Roving was Goodwin. Sweeping hand pass to Riley from 50. Kick on goal. And he's missed.
Adelaide 10-9. West Coast 22-8. Margin 71 points with 7.5 minutes remaining. Selwood links up with Butler. Career high 26 touches for Butler. Exceeds the 22 he had against the Bulldogs in round 13. Kerr. Cousins look out. Quick hands from Van Berlo's tackle. Got it to Selwood. Now to Morton at 50. And the young fella's got it.
A ball on the inside.
Thought about the short one to Sampi. Will give it off. Staker can wind it up. Just needs to guide it home from 50. He pulls it across the face. And Rutten smashes it through for a rush behind. So Michael Braun up to a career high 37 possessions. Sam Butler a career high 26.
They've done some real hard run today, JB, as well. They've really worked across. They've covered an amazing amount of territory to pick up these possessions.
Bode to Rashuto. Now to Edwards. Long memories here at Subi, booing Mark Rashuto from round 22 of last year. Cousins to Rashuto again. Jones paddle between the legs. Kerr's been dynamic today. He's been everywhere, just so zippy. Butler inside 50 for another touch. Sampi's timing today to be front and centre has been very impressive. Braun paddles to himself. Possession 38. Gets it to Hansen. Links up with Stenglein. Thompson runs him down. Stevens arrives as a free kick for a legging.
To get Stenglein.
It's going to Thompson. Squares it to Rutten. And go over the top to Bode. He's got an absolute paddock to work in. McGregor pushes up towards the wing. Riley pushes up shorter than that. He heads in the Riley direction. It pitches just in front. Now Riley confronted with a problem. The problem's name is Beau Waters.
He's strong in that area. Just tackles beautifully. Saw him make a big hit a couple of weeks ago. Same area. Definitely is the strength of his game.
He's having his 19th possession.
Some of his decision-making is sometimes not his strength.
Rashuto to Riley. It's a half-forward one-on-one. Burton out of position. Tries to work Selwood underneath it and does. Burton for the finish from 25. Hits the post. It's been that kind of day. They really have missed some opportunities that normally they would kick. These things tend to compound, don't they, when it's just not your day? Even early on, they missed some opportunities that they, more often than not, would have nailed. Take nothing away from West Coast's performance. It has been exceptional, to say the least. Braun gets a high one. He's pushing up to 40 touches for the first time in his career. He's got 5 minutes to get them. Banfield, now to Kerr from 50. Goes to Morton, and he's got it. Again, we speak of confidence and what you can get out of the game individually. Classic example here with Morton. Getting a bit of time. He's played 82 minutes of the 120 so far this afternoon. This for his 7th possession. If he can finish with a tidy goal from a tight angle here, will do his confidence and belief no end of good.
He struggled a little bit with the tempo early, but again, as the game's slowed down, he's just getting a little bit more confident.
For the 2nd goal of his fledgling 4-game career. He's a son of a gun. And Noel's little boy slots a goal.
At Truscott's, now means now. When we say you can own it now, we mean now. Not next year, not later, but now. With no deposit and 4 years to pay, you can own this Panasonic 160-watt 5-disc microsystem, $499, a whopping $200 off. Samsung 81cm LCD, just $16.98, a huge $300 off. And Panasonic 106cm plasma, plus home theater and DVD, only $2,498, $400 off. At Truscott's, now means now. Own it now with no deposit and 4 years to pay.
Listed as 184 and 77 kilos at the start of the season. Mitch Morton, a nice little project player, just bubbling along in the background for the Eagles to really make an impact over the next couple of seasons. Clark took it away from the ruck to Port Pleasure. Doughty. Stevens has had a power of work to get through. Glass arrived over the top of McGregor. Henschel at the back. Off to Riley. Good turn of speed from Riley. Just needs to finish from 45, and he does. Nice finish from Brent Riley. Adelaide get their 11th.
They are racking up the goals. It's just tit for tat. Goes one end of the ground to the other.
Jamie Graham comes off. Some warm applause, and he's been an important ingredient in this side, Graham, hasn't he? He was on the rookie list in 2004. He spent 2 months on the senior list early in the season, and then came on again off the rookie list in 05 and was elevated this year and has played every game.
Impressive with his running ability too. He's going to be a player of the future.
Margin back to 71. 25 minutes gone, final term. Shock result at Subiaco, you'd have to say. Certainly the margin, if not the result.
And the way that they've gone about their game.
Braun, 39th touch. Goes to Cousins. He's going to have 38. High ball inside 50. They'll contest 20 metres out. Thompson comes across. Hanson tries to take it out of mid-air. Goes to ground now. Armstrong. Little feed to Butler. He's had a career best day, Sam Butler. And he finishes with a goal. Second goal of his 31. Sorry, second goal of the season. Sixth goal of his 31-game career. And some of these youngsters benefiting greatly from the run this afternoon.
Look, again, Jason, this really is almost watching a tape of the early 2005 way they played the game. They were very, very attacking, West Coast. It's very attractive to watch instead of a real defensive game plan.
"24 goals, 9, 153. Adelaide 11-10, 76.
They're all getting involved. The spread of goal kickers. Quinton Lynch leads away with 4, and he's back on the ground.
Plenty of players around this ball again. They slide in. They'll have a secondary bounce. There's West Coast highest ever score against Adelaide. Scotty Cummings booted 14 that night. But this has been a good spread, as you mentioned, Willow. Hasn't been relying on any one man absolutely taking the game apart. Lynch has kicked 4, that's the most. They've had a host of contributors right across the park. They've out-teamed the best team in the competition until now. Jones gets it to Banfield. And now here's Morton at centre-half back. Goes to Cousins. One-on-one with Van Berlo. Glass looked to pounce. Van Berlo did well. Got it to Portplesia. Doughty. He could read his mind. He was trying to get it to McGregor. Just fumbled in the process. Riley from 55. Launches. Burton to the pocket. The crowd went up early. They were waiting for it to go out of bounds on the full. The mark will be paid. Burton from a tight angle. How about this one? Don't tell me he's kicked that. Oh, he is so mercurial. Burton gets his 3rd. He's just a freak.
That's an amazing effort. He's gone. Selwood did everything right. He's corralled him, didn't even allow to him. He has just pulled that Peter Dacos like, if you don't mind, wind back the clock. That is an amazing goal.
He's just a freak. He really is.
He can kick him, he can mark him.
He's an amazing player, Brett Burton. It's so exciting to watch. Brett Burton never fails to come up with a party trick or two. Every week, it's just the consistency with which he does it. It's just remarkable. A beautiful goal, his 3rd.
You've got to make the highlight reel, that.
He's a one-man highlight reel, isn't he, Brett Burton? Whether it's in the air or on the ground, he is just a genius. Bode goes towards Henschel at centre-half forward. Nice one-handed pickup. Good body strength from Brett Jones. Morton getting busy in this final term. Good for his confidence. Spears it. Staker and Hanson have just covered so much ground today. Really have opened up that front half for West Coast. Kerr's been great. Beaten on this occasion with a well-timed fist. He arrives again for Matner. It's been a tough day at the office for Matner. Kerr goes again and wins the football. Gets it to Braun. Braun to Stenglein. Can trot to 20 metres out and hammer it through. Stenglein joins the party. Their 13th individual goal kicker in their total of 25.
You talk about individual efforts. This of Daniel Kerr, he was the target. He led out, he followed it up, he gets it back in. This is a best on-ground performance by far by the young man. He has been brilliant. He is hard at it. He's in and under. He takes the high mark. He kicks the goals. Outstanding performance.
"13 individual goal kickers for the Eagles. They've run out of space on the scoreboard to list them all. 77 points the margin.
And if you go into ratings on how well certain players may have played, I don't know if you couldn't give Daniel Kerr a 10 out of 10 for today's performance.
Well, pleasure to centre-half forward. Edwards. Bo tries to work his way through traffic. Goodwin's faded out of the game. Here's Portplesia from 45. Off a step, Jason Portplesia. just across the face, through for a minor score. It has been a super performance. On statistics, Kerr's got 158 points ahead of Cousins on 136 and Judd on 126, Braun on 125. The top 5 all West Coast players. And not surprisingly, Brett Burton, the best for Adelaide. He's ranked number 6. Here's Beau Waters from defensive 50. Less than a minute remaining. Has it been a watershed day for the West Coast Eagles? Only time will tell. Jones. There'll be no panic in the Adelaide camp. That's one thing you can be certain of. For them, they're hoping it's just a hiccup. Seaby to Armstrong for one more. Stephen Armstrong equals his career best of 3 goals. He did it previously for Melbourne against St Kilda in the last game of 2002. It's been a record-breaking day for many of the Eagles on an individual level, and certainly as a unit. What a performance, 82 points.
You talk about successful sides and the great sides. We spoke about Adelaide, best defensive side by far in the competition. You would not read this into this game of 26 goals, 9 from West Coast. If you're writing a script, there's no way you can have that as a storyline.
They've conceded 26 goals in their last 3 weeks. Today they've conceded it in 1 game. That says it all. Waters, Glass, Morton again. Here's Braun for touch number 41. He's cracked that magical barrier. Afternoon to remember for him. An afternoon to remember for the West Coast Eagles. West Coast 26-9, 165. Demolish the ladder leaders. Adelaide 12-11, 83. The final margin 82 points. And the West Coast Eagles win 3 in a row over the Crows for the first time since 1991 and 92. They kicked the biggest score against the Adelaide Crows since Brisbane back in round 17 of 2004. It's also the biggest win anyone's posted against Adelaide since that game, round 17 of 2004. Let's hear the song. Let's head boundary side, Tim Gossage.
Ben Cousins, well, doesn't get much better than that.
No, we've had trouble putting sides away all year, and you know, taking nothing away from us. You know, I've been really impressed with Adelaide this year, and they were a bit off the boil, and we capitalised on it.
You had the week off last week. You had yesterday off from training. You went to the beach in the midweek. Is that the perfect preparation?
Just freshening right up, mate, this time of year. Got to look after the old blokes.
Well played. Congratulations.
Thanks.
Quinton Lynch booted 4. Hanson, Armstrong and Judd 3 apiece. 2 each to Kerr, Cousins, Sampi and Staker. Singles to Stenglein, Braun, Morton, Seaby, Butler. Would have been quicker just to read the blokes who didn't kick them. Burton booted 3, 2 to Rashudo. Singles to Thompson, Edwards, McGregor, Riley, Goodwin, Henschel and Matner. West Coast 26-9, 165. Adelaide 12-11, 83. Peter Wilson.
Well, I tell you what, John Warswell will be an extremely happy man, because that really has set West Coast Eagles back on the map on their roads to September. And I think a very, very good return to form.
At the start of the day, we said that sometimes the big games bring the best out of the big teams.
You said the slumber call, and I'm certain they've come out of it.
What does it mean for season 2006? We can't tell now. We'll tell you in 10 weeks' time. These 2 teams may well meet again. Let's hope so. But today, the West Coast Eagles by 82 points.
The 2006 Toyota AFL Premiership season, proudly brought to you by our broadcast partners.
Toyota. Footy. Oh, what a feeling. The Bundy Fine Form Awards. Vote now at bundyfineform.com.au. And Bunnings Warehouse, where lowest prices are just the beginning.
The Stratco Outback, a place to relax and enjoy your own backyard or entertain family and friends. As a stylish and affordable addition, the Stratco Outback Veranda Patio will improve the look and value of your home. So, for a complete lifestyle solution designed to your individual needs, contact Stratco or an authorised veranda patio dealer and start enjoying life out back.
What you need today.
You're going to have to stop all this nonsense and get a job.
To keep his family together, no one's going to take you away. Luke has to learn.
We've got one shot.
To tackle life head on.
Let's go out there and do it, guys.
Fairy tale stuff.
Toyota is looking at the world in a completely new way.
In the time it takes to buy a lottery ticket, another of the world's wildlife species will become extinct.
Do something about it. Help the Royal Zoological Society of South Australia and purchase a Zoos South Australia lottery ticket.
You could win this sporty Mitsubishi Outlander LS, valued at $32,000.
For your chance to share in this fabulous lottery package, buy your ticket online or phone this number.
Endangered wildlife will benefit for many years thanks to your generous support.